Hello everyone, it's Doe's Junkie Journals again, and I'm Doe. I don't have a closure on this, so it's not wanting to stay closed. This is just a small Halloween journal that I made, kind of quickie. I started out, I was going to use a cover I already had made, and it was the TN size, Traveler's Notebook size. And then I ended up not using that, but I had all the papers cut and everything, so I just found a piece of cardstock that had the Halloween theme, and so I kind of just used that instead. So this little journal has had some ups and downs. In the past I've made larger ones, and this year I thought, well, I'll just make a small one. But now that I have another kit to make, I am going to make another one, but it's not exactly Halloween. So anyway, thought I'd share this with you. It is the TN size. It's just one sewn in signature, and it looks kind of like it's upside down, but this is right side up. So, and Happy Halloween's right side up, Jack-o'-lantern's right side up, and then some of it's turned the other way and some of it's this way. So it's sort of a misnomer. But anyway, it's heavy cardstock, and I've zigzag stitched it to a piece of black cardstock. And there's no kit in this. It's just pieces of paper that I had or that I acquired at a garage sale that were Halloween themed. And that's the basis of it. I don't like real cutesy ones, but then this isn't exactly a scary one either, so it's sort of an in-between. But anyway, here goes. First page, cardstock, orange, and it actually says ha 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 over and over and over again, and on the other side it says the same thing. I put some black lace on it, and this is just a piece of paper that with spider webs, and this is a die, and I stamped here in the city, so the witch is flying over the city. This is supposedly our moon, and this one says Witch of the Willows, Witch's Brew, and behind this I have a tag I made, just a random stamping on that, and it's can be written on the back if you want to journal something. And another find of a ghostly looking lady out in the forest, or at least on a lonely road, with possibly a raven, a crow, I don't think it's a bat, and a moon, and a scary tree, some witches' hats, we have to have witches, and a skeleton, and some more crazy paper, Halloween themed, that I found on sale at Hobby Lobby, I think. This is one of those little envelopes, and I tried to make it look like there was a spider crawling out of it, and a bat, owl, and up here we have a stamped bat. I have a stamped ghost, and this is a little die cut of a gate, and I sort of tried to make it seem like the gate going into the cemetery, and then maybe this is one of these people that's rising up. have to have a little bit of fun. And another bat. And some more kind of funny paper that came from Hobby Lobby. And this is a big sty that I've had for a while. My husband convinced me that this was the one I needed. This is just some graph paper and a periodic table of the elements, but it's black, so I thought it would go in here. And on this side, sort of a creepy looking lady, a little bit, and some black music paper, and the witches are dancing. The witches chanted, creepy spiders, hairy and fat, your webs will find to make a trap. And this is also a die, and this is from an Artie Mays kit, and I don't know if people noticed it, but the other side is a flower or something, and on this side there's a creepy looking thing right there in the jar, mason jar. And I had some black vegetable netting, I suppose is what it is, and I made a tag in the shape of a coffin, put a little bit of that spider web and a moon and some seam binding and some very dark leaves and a little punch on the top that's bats. And this is, oh, I don't even know how old this is. It's paper pad, designer paper pad, and I've had it a very long time. And this is a die cut with the candelabra and the spider. Those come together in a big sty. And some more paper that I had in my stash. And I've managed to get the city streets on this one, and a couple of bats, and a piece of coffee dyed paper, and some more paper that's paper pad. And I think this owl is scary. Most owls I think are pretty, but this one's a little bit on the scary side. And I just kind of made myself a little moon here, and a stamp. This is the bat again, and here's a whole page full of bats, and some more lace, and just a piece of modelly paper, coffee or tea dyed. I think this is coffee dyed, but I wouldn't say for sure. And these I thought looked a little creepy, and they were freebies, but when you look at them, it's not really all that creepy. This is an ostrich skeleton. Looks kind of like a dinosaur. And this is a vampire bat skeleton. So I thought, well, they look kind of scary. And some nice Halloween paper with the moon shining through the trees. Just one signature. And this is a die. And I have a couple of more of those skeletons. This is actually a kangaroo. And this is a moose. And I figured with the clock we needed to have the date, the 31st. And over here I have bat wings, and bats up close are kind of creepy, but as a matter of fact, they are a real boost to any area that has a mosquito problem. And Austin, Texas is one of those places where the bats had just about taken over, and people were quite concerned about it under one of the main overpasses. And so it was explained that bats eat so many insects and mainly mosquitoes every night when they come out that it was well worth saving the bats. So don't think of them as a predator, but I guess they also pollinate somewhat, but mainly they kill insects and eat them. And this is just a washi tape with some spiders on it, and the other part of that spotted paper, and the other half of the bats with some more lace, some pumpkins, and this little lady wants you to be quiet. Not sure. Maybe she has a secret. Anyway, she's a pretty witch. But there's bats and cats and skeletons and pumpkins on there. And so she's a little bit scary, but pretty. Another piece of washi tape, another piece of scrap paper. And this is the paper pad. And I've used the guy again. And I've made it in a coffin shape, the tag. I make all of these from file folders. I make most of my tags. And just a scrap piece of paper. And another sort of creepy lady. And another coffin with a little bling on it. Some cobwebs. And a spider. And that's the other half of that piece. And here we have the moon shining and sort of a spooky haunted house maybe. And this is all stamps. If you notice, the little cutout here has the little bats, and that's how I get the little bats, is I save those little cutouts and use them. Okay, there's the other side of that dark leaves. And here we have a potion, pure diluted Goulet, guaranteed pure and natural by the Screech Company, Transylvania. And I've stamped with the little bats here on the side. And here's a lady that I'm not sure, but she's very, very sad. She has her head down, and maybe she's a ghost, and she's sad about it. She's in the graveyard or the cemetery. You know the difference in a graveyard and a cemetery? A graveyard is next to a church. A cemetery is not. That's a new fact I learned this year. So that's the difference. Always thought it was just a either or. The paper again, the bat, and Happy Halloween. And I've got some tape here that says boo. And of course I had to use black doilies. And another tag, H for Halloween. And black seam binding. And here's some more skeletons, and this is an elephant. What does it say? I'm getting blind, guys. I think it says African elephant, and this is actually an American crow. And these are just little things that they're just little animals. I'm not sure what they are, but I think they look like little animals. And our Draculas and ghosts and witches, and I suppose that's supposed to be Frankenstein or something. And my spiders. And here I have Goblin Goo, an Eye of Newt, and then I have a little tag back here that I made and just stamped it with another bat. And Mr. Skeleton, Halloween greetings, and he has a spider up there. And he probably would like to have you come in and sit for a spell. And here's another tag I made up. I have this huge stamp, like about this big, and it's just random things on it. So it makes like a good background. And just the alphabet on a piece of orange paper. And here's the paper again with the skeletons and the bats and the bones. And this is just a little flip up, flip down, and it feels like I've glued it. So for a little journaling, write a little note in there, and there's a bat, and there's a little bit of stenciling, and another die cut, a chandelier. And this is another big stamp that I have. It's a Halloween, strictly Halloween. It says rest in peace, and it's got a pumpkins and a cat and some spiders and the typical ghouly looking fence. And this person's name is I'm a Goner. Okay. And there's the back of the spider webs. There's not many on that one. And the last page is the ha-ha-ha-has again. And the back. And the total back. And I didn't decorate it anymore. I thought, how could you put anything else on it with all this going on? So I just left it as is. And I thank you for joining me in this little happy time. Halloween is coming up soon. And I thank you for watching, and I'll be back. Bye-bye.